Take off! It's time for Doug and Ben's Great NASCAR Adventure!
Yeah, welcome to NasCanucks. I'm Ben. This is Doug. We've got 3 races to talk about tonight. An easy weekend because the broadcasters decide not to broadcast them all. So we've got Michigan, the Irish Hills of Michigan, Xfinity and Cup, and of course the streets of Nashville, not Martinsville, Nashville, although...
Kind of look like Martinsville. I watched the highlights.
Yeah. You might as well because a quarter of the race was under caution. So we will get to that. So, yes, kicking off the action, going into the weekend, no news and notes going into the weekend that we didn't already cover last week. There was nothing between Tuesday and the weekend. So, get into Xfinity action. Was there anybody making their debut or anything in the Xfinity? I don't recall.
Not Xfinity, no.
Oh, well, announced during the race, Brett Moffitt, who was driving the 02 in the Xfinity Series, is no longer driving the 02 in the Xfinity Series.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, there's that. Other than that, it's Michigan. It's one of my favorite tracks.
I think we both get our first NASCAR live race at Michigan?
Yes, as most Canadians do. Yep.
Right there. You can't see it. It does say GF Marketplace 400, which, you know what? I had never seen a Gordon's food service truck until this race. Then all of a sudden...
Now you notice them all over the place, I bet.
Every frickin' where.
Yeah. Yeah, whereas, I went to the Pepsi 400, and I've seen Pepsi trucks around all the time. Prefer the Coke. So anyways, the Xfinity Series, I love it because, it's 4, you can go 4 wide all the way around the track.
I think that's what...
It's what Daytona used to be. That racing is what Daytona and Talladega used to be.
I like Michigan for, hey, it's my first track, right?
Yeah.
But then I was there a second time in 2010.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell am I doing here for this race?
See, yeah. Whereas I would have a blast all the time because it is. Yeah. The reason being is, well, it used to be before we had the stupid stages, but you could potentially have a caution-free race. And then I'm like, great, now it's a team race. It was like, even in the 90s, because it was like Formula One all of a sudden. It was in-laps, it was out-laps, it was strategy. It was, and I'm like, yes. Otherwise, boring race to most people.
And then I guess the other thing for me was I went, that second time I was alone. Right. I went by myself to a race just to keep up the streak of a race a year, right? But I don't know.
It'd be different if we were camping there and stuff.
Yeah, I did camp there, and then that turned in, and I think we talked about that we camped at the same place. I camped at the same place, my 2 times there.
Yeah.
And being Ted's Ranch across the street.
Yeah.
Where it's literally, if you ever go to Michigan, you stay at Ted's Ranch because it's like you pay $35 at the time for a car.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how many people you had in your vehicle. All you had to do was pay for the vehicle.
Yep.
And then it was like, okay, what camping spot should we go into?
But that was also before they totally expanded the infield camping at Michigan too.
Well, this, like I said, Ted's Ranch was across the street. And you paid your $35.
Yeah.
You said, okay, what camp spot should I go to? Take this road, follow it down, and the first open spot in the field you find
is yours.
Take it.
Yep. Because that's what he's going to say to the next guy.
Yep.
And the next guy.
I think
and we'll say hello to both Charles75 and Terry's 3Gs in the chat. So, it was spread out. It was wide. We had a variety of guys running up front. Most of the usual suspects. The cream does rise to the top there. like Allmendinger was fast at times, Gregson was fast at times, Ty Gibbs was fast at times,
Allgaier,
Josh Berry got up there at times, and then you got some issues,
Yep.
There was a couple of wrecks, so there's that. And then that was kind of it. I mean, Ty Gibbs won the race.
Yes, Ty Gibbs won the race.
I think he got new teeth. He seems like he's got veneers or something going on. All of a sudden, it looked like he was wearing a mouth guard.
Oh, I have no idea.
I think he got new veneers. So, because, I was like, are you wearing a mouth guard? Because you're acting like you're wearing a mouth guard. Hey, Keith Campbell.
He may have been wearing a mouth guard. You never know.
May have. So, Ty Gibbs won, doing what he's supposed to do, which is you're supposed to dominate a series basically before you move up, and so he's doing it the right way. And he's been keeping busy because, once again, he was going to be doing double duty, possibly for the last time. Possibly.
No, do we have more on that?
There hasn't been anything official yet.
Okay.
Yeah. That's usually Wednesdays or Thursdays. So.
Well, because there was supposed to be some stuff come out today. There was a bunch of announcements supposed to be happening today.
Yeah, but nothing.
Nothing.
Well, actually, they're probably doing them now because, Ben and Doug went live, so let's announce shit. Yeah, so that would take us into Sunday, where rare occasion, both races nowhere near each other, both rain delayed.
Yes. And really, that rain came out of nowhere in Michigan.
Kind of came out of nowhere in Nashville, too. And then we had the problem with standing water in Nashville, because I'm like, why are we waiting? You have rain tires. But then they're showing there is standing water because being a street course, it's not smooth. It's not smooth. So, and they were debuting a new tire. I don't know if you noticed that, Doug. The option tires were not red sidewall. They were green sidewall.
Yeah, like I said, I only watched the highlights, so they really didn't cover that.
Well, I'm about to, because it's a game changer. The green sidewall tire, the reason it being green is they were able to extract, obviously, from a plant in the southwest of the U.S., as opposed to relying on rubber trees internationally. So It's a domestic source that's renewable, blah, blah, blah. So, but they only do the sidewalls. The tread, no. Apparently that stuff, it ain't sticky, whatever it is. So, sidewalls. And we didn't really see, punctures from sidewalls, and they were getting a workout, that's for sure. Although they didn't seem to last as long. Like, everyone's like, get me the black, the primaries. So, but we had a good full field of 26 cars, a variety of strategies throughout the race. My pick, Colton Herta. No, worst race in about 2 months that he didn't crash out of. So that he got back up the field because he was a lap down, and he ended up in the top 5.
Well, he ended up in the wall there.
Yeah.
From what I'd seen, yeah.
Everybody ended up in the wall.
Oh, yeah. I've seen that as well.
Yeah. Some people were doing their best Joey Logano impersonations into the first corner. I like to funnel in. No, you don't. You like to bulldoze. There's a difference. So, and to show it, because I got the photo, they had the flatbed wrecker there at the end of the race, Doug, pulling out, And, okay, there is one rear wing, but just a few nose cones were damaged during the... We don't usually see that kind of carnage outside of Martinsville and Bristol. So, I don't know. Because IndyCar, a few of the drivers saying we need to go back to Richmond. Do you? Because as much as I loved watching IndyCars at Richmond, I don't know why they would love running 12-second laps at Richmond or whatever it was, because that was insane. They were whoa, one groove, one groove and marbles. Oh, okay. So, all the front clips. That's right, Keith. All the front clips. So a lot of jumping before the green. Yes. Well, they're doing that weird thing where they're doing like the Mid-Ohio restarting on like turn 7 type thing.
Yeah.
Because I was like, their scoring is off. And then I realized, no, they had to go around half the lap. And it's weird because they literally go up over the bridge, they turn around, they go back over the bridge, and then they turn around. It's not a complicated track, is what I'm saying. No. So, Newgarden going 3 deep. Yeah, so Scott Dixon wins the race. Ericsson was having issues. Will Power had issues. They've noticed an issue. Well, yeah, they don't do a lot of bump drafting in IndyCar, as you know, Doug.
Really?
It's frowned upon.
Really?
Yeah.
I would think that'd be the perfect
well, they've noticed. It happened to be really impressive that people were lining up those nose cones just right to hit the rear attenuator, right, which is the crush panel. But apparently when you do that, it fucks up the gears in the gearbox just enough and all of a sudden you don't have like the auto clutching, so you actually have to let off the shift and stuff like that. So Will Power, like lap 3, someone jacked his rear end, so he was kind of off the pace. And it happened to 3 or 4 guys during the race, to the point where Will, after the race, he's just like, oh my God, it's not angry Will Power anymore. He's still smiling. He's like, yeah, I don't know how I finished 8th, whatever, but I think the guys are, Indy's going to have to look at this because this is definitely a weak link. It's like, think? But then again, they don't bump each other like that. You get a little this sometimes, but so Scott Dixon wins for another career win.
So now he's now alone second in all-time wins list.
Second alone, yeah, and he won't catch AJ Foyt because apparently he won all the races back in the day. And it puts him in the hunt. He's 9 points out for the championship that Will Power's now leading with 3 races left. You got like 4 drivers within 30 points, so it's going to be a good run to the finish of that season. I'm really liking the way this is shaping up. They're saying it's like the most competitive season in years, and I tend to believe them. So, so that takes us into the other rain-delayed race, being the whatever 400 at Michigan by icing.
What was it this week?
Toyota? No. Ford?
No.
Somebody.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I forget now.
Yeah, it was a something 400. I don't know if this is the only trip we're making to Michigan this year, because if not, that means Michigan's in the playoffs. So
Casino.
Oh, right, that casino. Right, that was advertised everywhere all over the track.
Yep.
Right, that makes sense.
Yeah, so it is their only time to Michigan, although they kept saying we go there twice in the pre-race.
Yeah. Except not this time.
No.
And, hey, Guitar Man 45. Yeah, so they're racing, within an hour of Guitar Man 45's house. And we got to see, and I was curious because I want to see the new car, blah, blah, blah. But it seems like the new car, isn't that all that, like, it was no faster, really, than Xfinity cars out there. No. And had some issues during the race. A couple left fronts decided to let go, and I'd like to know, what is this newfangled brake fluid that they're using that's clearly flammable? Because last time I checked, brake fluid, it's hard to get brake fluid to catch fire.
Yeah. But the first wreck there that Yaley got loose on.
That was a hard lick by Cindric because he turned right into the wall.
But
shades of Austin Dillon earlier this year.
I was going to say, you seen who got Yaley loose on that one.
I forget. Was it 34? Because he had a lot of damage later in the race, I noticed. Also, I forgot to mention during the Saturday race, briefly, Ty Gibbs was doing a great impersonation of also Monster Energy driver Hailie Deegan by having the spout going out. And they're like, have you checked your gauges? And he's like, oh, yeah, they're flashing. Okay, because you're doing Thomas the Tank Engine down the front stretch there, just steaming away. And they're like, the fella might want to, tailgate somebody. And they're like, oh, okay.
Well, and
the dash is flashing.
Michigan is kind of noted for having wrappers.
It is the number one hot dog wrapper on grill tracks there. We've seen everything from hot dog wrappers to shopping bags to garbage bag, full-blown garbage bags. The only track that holds the record for the larger piece of random debris on the track would be Chicagoland. Just, the sun-kissed orange. That happened. That was big. That was so big. 4-story orange rolling down the backstretch. Under green. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. So, back into so we had Ty Gibbs, who was, again, quite competitive in Cup. Like, okay, and I'm not saying part of it is the quality of the cars, but still, it's a different car. Okay, kid. Which is good because it's like teaching a kid, a young kid a second language. He's still young. That brain is still fresh. I bet you if you smelled his head, it still smells like milk at this point in life. The kid is young, is what I'm saying. Okay. So, he was. I think he was running in the top 10 quite a bit at times. I think he finished 10.
Then there was another wreck, which maybe I could question. Listening to Sirius XM. That Justin Marks was talking about, that the Christopher Bell Chastain incident, which he said that's another learning experience. Jeez, how many times are you gonna say that? He has to have some sort of monetary feedback or comeback for him saying that. But apparently,
I'm just curious. Can we get camera footage of the motor coach lot? Because I'm pretty sure there's 36 coaches and 1 short bus in that lot.
Well, apparently, according to Justin Marks, that was like a race for whoever was going to get ahead there was going to win.
Right.
At that point.
Right.
Although Ross, you were just coming off pit road and you were like a lap and a half down. So I'm not sure just exactly how much that was a race for the lead at the time.
Yeah. Well, that was even like during the opening stage there when somebody was getting out front and Larson's radio, they came out, they said, "Here, work with the one." He's like, "What?" They're like, "No, work with the one and catch up." He's like, "No." Well, I'll figure something else out, thanks. But we had a few drivers, I'm not saying, racing for their playoffs.
Just time out for a second. I was going to talk about something about Saturday race, and it just popped into my head now.
Sure.
Let's talk AJ Allmendinger. Second race in a row now that his cooling shirt does not work.
Yeah. Yeah, what's up with that?
At Indy was the
wiring. Indy just ran out of water.
Well, there was a wiring issue at Indy.
No, Indy was his water bottle was empty less than halfway through the race.
No, his cooling shirt. Because they talked about it during the race.
Oh, okay. So it was both. That explains why he ran out of water because the cooling shirt wasn't working.
Yeah. So there's a wiring issue in his cooling shirt, and then happens again this week. Because he even said, "Can we test this at the shop next time instead of just when we get to the track?" Yeah,
exactly. Yep. And yeah, that's right. Because they were talking about that because how similar to Noah Gragson has issues of holding his breath while racing, which causes him to get nauseous. And again, this week he almost puked in his helmet. And Dale Jr. never done that, and then just randomly steal the turns like Jeff Gordon at Sonoma. And then just whoa! I don't think Jeff saw that bus coming. It's like, I thought we were friends, Steve. I'm thinking Steve had to clean that up, and that's why Steve mentions it, because it was probably so far ago that Steve was low enough down on the team. They're like, "Hey, Pop-Tart, you're cleaning it. Yeah. Jeff made a mess." You're like, "Oh, great." So.
Yeah, so back to Sunday.
Yeah, so we had a few drivers running for their playoff lives. 3 basically. We got 3 because whoever was behind Harvick going into the race was there. He was like another 100 points.
Oh yeah, there was 91 points.
Yeah. So, and hey, I'll say I stand corrected on that one. Whew, someone pulled out a surprise. And Doug said, "Hey, keep an eye on him." But the funny part is that man is delusional, Doug.
Why?
Because they're like in victory lane, right? Or circle, I guess, because it's not a lane. And apparently, show up with your kid at the track and you win a race 3 weeks in a row.
As we talked yesterday, a redheaded kid.
A redheaded kid. Yeah. So if you got that ugly redheaded stepchild, invite him on into the track.
There's a lot of red hair dye being bought.
There is. Week. Yeah, because none of the parents are redheads.
No.
So
some could be a little snow kind of type.
You know, I would check the headedness of the local Amazon driver or something in that neighborhood. You know, Lake Norman. You know, hey, you got a redheaded Amazon driver. Oh yeah, you do. Yeah, that's right, you did.
Just to go back to during the race again, just a second. I like one thing, and we talked about this was Letarte. When Custer had his issue,
yeah,
Letarte's like, don't bring it to me.
Yeah,
you know, like, find the nearest fireman on pit road and stop. Yeah. Don't bring it to the pit. Nothing I can do for you in the pit box.
Nope. No, we're already packing up.
Yeah,
because the car's burning down.
Yeah.
So yeah. So we got another fire this week. We're having a lot of fires. Is what I'm saying. A lot of fires, but fortunately, you know, safety crews being what they're. Oh, buddy, he hopped that pit wall and just started spraying everywhere, up straight into the wind. He was pissing into the wind until he ran up to the car.
Yeah.
I'm like, you can see it. It's just puffing out and then back. I'm like, that's not doing anything.
Yeah.
Hey, Tom. And so, yeah. But yeah, in Victory Lane, we got Kevin Harvick. They're like, well, you've been asked every week, you know. He's like, I don't know why people were counting us out. You know, like, we got this. I'm like, you didn't win at all last year. Like, had you won last year and kept the streak going, fine. You have won this year. Fine. Mm-hmm. But Bubba Lou, you didn't win last year. So the naysayers weren't naysayers. You were in denial. Heavily in denial. Well,
he bet on himself. Really, he bet on himself.
Yeah. You know, when he's got the thinning population north of the old cranium there, just hand the guy a ball cap. You know, he's got the 60s kind of swirl thing going. Is it a comb over? Not really, because there's not enough to comb over. And so, yeah. So, yeah, Kevin Harvick won. Delana was there wearing her sundress because she's no longer in the fire suit mode. Yeah. So, I'm like, it's not IndyCar, Delana. It's not IndyCar. Not IndyCar.
She no
and for the first time,
wears the fire suit in the family.
No, she doesn't. That's right. Interesting, though. First time this week we actually saw someone offer a child some hearing protection for a race car. And it wasn't just a random pair of ear defenders because it had a radio on it.
Yes.
I'm like, oh.
Oh, no, how about that foreshadowing with that whole thing with Kevin and Keelan pre-race?
Right.
So, yeah.
Yep. So, yeah. So, Kevin Harvick wins. And now he's in the playoffs. And now, you know, as I like to look back, you know, and forget about these stupid little, I win stages and playoffs and blah, all that. Our two drivers that are sitting second and fourth in the points are fighting for that last spot.
Yeah.
So, of course, I'm seeing all over the interweb, the point system's broken. The point system's broken. It's like, what part of winning you're in is, if more than 16 win, then the point system's broken.
Yeah.
You know, but this is by design. Winning you're in. So now I think we're setting up the perfect storm for Daytona.
Yes.
You know, I'm really hoping that at this point, flip coin, Blaney or Truex wins at Watkins Glen or Richmond. So then we have the 16. So that win at Daytona, you're not going to have Michael Bedell. I'm going to make the playoffs. No, you're not. No, you're not, because otherwise.
Just to go back to Keith there for a second, they did a whole thing with Kevin's last win there when he took Keelan in the car with him.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
So say we do have a Truex win and a Blaney win.
Yeah.
That puts Bowman on the outside.
It does, because they are second and fourth in the points. So. Yeah, and like I say, I really don't want to have 15 winners going into Daytona, because then it's going to be a shit show.
Yep.
At some point, it's going to turn into a shit show. And it could be as much as, hey, I'm just going to start nudging people out of the race that have competitive cars,
Yep.
or you get...
sorry, Keith. Yes, you're right, Keith. It does. Kurt Busch is the one in the bubble.
Yes. And so, and does Kurt Busch start going 34? You're not taking me out of the playoffs. Ryan Blaney? Not you either, So it eliminates that.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank the baby Jesus that Chastain does already have a win. Going into Daytona.
Hey. Stenhouse doesn't have a win yet.
This is what I'm saying. We really need, both those guys can win. How about Blaney, who's good on road courses? He can win Watkins Glen. Truex can win Richmond. He's won there.
And Watkins Glen is one of Truex's home tracks.
So is Richmond. Well, he's going to win all the home tracks?
Yeah, why not?
When really, technically, New Hampshire is the most experience on.
Yeah.
Because Busch North.
Hmm.
So, yeah. Other than that, news and notes, they took Hamlin's car and Elliott's car to the R&D Center to be looked at this week, and nothing has been said, even though they usually say stuff on Tuesdays. But Tuesdays or longer, because we got more cars. It's 2. What you're looking at. Everything. They're tearing them down. So,
other thing I'm hearing is that Almirola could be saying, you know what, maybe I'm not done yet.
Yeah. And Ryan Preece is like, that's what. Yeah, exactly. Technically, Dover is, but he never raced on Dover until he entered the Busch Series at the time.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, sorry. No. Because he was at Dover 2001 when 9/11 happened, because he was practically doing a test session at Dover.
Yeah. For the Busch Series.
No. Busch North.
No. Because he took over the car after Junior left. Junior was out of the car after the 99 season. You sure?
I think I'm pretty sure.
You sure?
I'm pretty sure.
Do I have to look up Truex's career stats?
I'm pretty sure.
Hey, Blackjack Guitar. Yeah, let's do a race at Shannonville. Nice local reference to Blackjack Guitar. I don't even have to travel. He's like, we don't even have to meet halfway at Moseport. All right. I'll run Shannonville. And yes, as well as rumor has it that talks have broken down between Gibbs and Kyle Busch, although whatever. Until he signs something, I'm still pretty confident he's going to be back there. Which, though, Doug, another hat in the fire on that one of possible teams, because we've heard, he might be going to Hendrick. No. He might be going to Stewart-Haas. Maybe, but no. Rick Ware Racing for a year.
I've heard. Did you say colleague? I heard colleague. I've heard colleague.
Colleague was another rumored one.
My thing that I laughed so hard at when I heard this was that he was going to be going to Stewart-Haas.
Yep.
Because Almirola is staying in the 10, that Kyle Busch would go to the 41, kicking out Cole Custer because he's done nothing for the team.
Cole has 3 career wins?
I believe so. How many does the young Mr. Briscoe have?
That would be 1.
1 or 2.
All right. Yeah. Also,
who's Cole's dad?
I was going to say, who signs the paychecks over there? He is El Presidente of Haas Automation. He's not even the president of Stewart-Haas Racing. I think he's the president of Haas Automation.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
So, yeah. The funniest I heard was Kyle Busch to the 41. Stewart-Haas Racing will be switching to Chevrolets. I'm like, really? No. Because if they're switching to a manufacturer, go back about 6 months on our channel. If anything, they're switching to Dodges. Reminder, Keith, you're good at remembering stuff. Stewart-Haas Racing will be, if and when Dodge returns to NASCAR, two wins. Well, there we are. Yeah, Dodge, exactly. So, because Stewart's NHRA team is Dodge, and that's how Dodge got back into NHRA. Yes. Also, they said Kyle Busch will be not only driving the 41 Chevrolet, he will also be running some of the SRX series, which, okay, well, that, and that could be anybody, and World of Outlaws races, which I was like, I don't think Kyle in his mid-30s is going to decide to start sprint car racing.
You know what? No, I don't. I could see him in a late model.
Yeah.
Because I remember when the old Prelude to the Dream, when Tony bring in the NASCAR guys, Kyle went out and got his own dirt late model.
He did.
To run, to practice.
Yes. I could see him running a midget because his kid's going to be running midgets soon enough. Yes, exactly, Keith. And so what else? Other than that, heard another little rumor that sounds plausible as much as I hate it, Doug. The next driver for the 42.
Yes, I heard that as well too today. I believe will be announced tomorrow.
You think that'll be announced tomorrow?
I from what I've heard, it was either today or tomorrow. So I think it's going to be announced tomorrow.
So Noah Gragson to the 42?
Yes.
For, I guess, Rookie of the Year contention next year. Oh, excuse me. And I also heard, there's no way that Kyle Busch will go to the 2311 team because apparently Toyota's floundering and they're broke and they have no money, and so they're looking at maybe pulling out of racing. And I was like, I think they have as much money as Ford and Chevy combined these days, especially in the racing budget. So
I'm trying to see. I couldn't find it there, but I know there is another team coming in. Going to be running a couple races near the end of the season, and then we'll be running, I believe, full time next year. I can't think of the name of it right offhand, but it is another German team coming into NASCAR in the Cup Series.
Germans, okay. Also, this coming weekend, Watkins Glen, Kimi Räikkönen makes his Cup Series debut, driving for Trackhouse Racing.
This weekend?
Yeah. Well, Watkins Glen's this weekend, is it not?
This weekend?
Isn't it?
No, they'll be in Richmond this weekend.
Oh, okay. So I saw Kimi is already en route to North Carolina for seat fittings and such like that.
Which will be his second time back in NASCAR.
Yes, in NASCAR, but not NASCAR.
No, that's why I said NASCAR.
That's right.
Because his first time was 2011.
Yep.
Xfinity race, or Busch race at the time. Nationwide.
No. Truck Series.
Nationwide Series at Charlotte in 2011.
I thought he only ran just the Truck Series with that Perky Jerky sponsorship. Caffeine-infused beef jerky. Mm-hmm. Trucker's
Feel free to talk amongst yourselves. I'll be back in a little bit.
Well, you going to find a photo of the car?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, Kimi does need seat and sim time, that's for sure. Well, you'll probably not find, since we have nothing else to talk about, we're basically ready to wrap up the show.
No, there is something else to talk about.
Oh?
As mentioned last week on the show.
Oh?
The Charlotte Roval.
Yes.
Mr. Marco Andretti will be making his NASCAR Xfinity debut.
That's right. Yeah, as predicted a few times about that. Yeah. So there we are. Are we really going to wait for you to find the photo?
Keith Campbell, I will go to your experience from this year. Is this a truck or a nationwide car? Asking for a friend.
Actually, it almost looks like a cup car. The way because they got the extra winglets on the back, it almost looks like it's the wing of the COT.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So
right.
2011, Kimi Räikkönen at at Charlotte.
Oh, and the other thing about Kyle Busch going to Stewart-Haas, I forgot. The other part was Tony Stewart is going to partner up with AJ Foyt to start an IndyCar program, and Kyle Busch is going to do the double as well. That's a lot of ducks. That's all the ducks.
I did hear that was going to be his thing because Tony had kept kind of. I had heard that he was going to go start up an Indy team as well.
Yeah.
The other thing that announcement that came out that they were kind of really hinting at that could have been Kyle Busch because they were tweeting out just a picture of a clock counting down, and that was Colleague Racing that Justin Haley will be going back to the Xfinity Series for the Daytona race.
Okay. I thought he was going to go back to the Xfinity Series, period, because he ain't doing shit in Cup Series, unfortunately.
Well, you know.
Like, he's done fuck all this year.
Yes.
Considering everyone has pretty equal cars. Like, this is the IROC of Cup season, so.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes.
Trying to think what else I heard. Not much else.
I don't think so.
Not much else.
We'll hear some more this week. Well, they'll probably be announcing stuff as soon as we end the show, because that's how it works.
Could be, yeah.
All right. Well, on that note.
Who you got this weekend in Richmond?
Ooh, good question. See, I want to pick your boy. I want to, but I'm not. Because he just doesn't seem to have the luck right now. But he could be cheated up. That's an option, too.
Well, and you and I talked about that off air as well. Yesterday a lot. That there's just...
The communication isn't there.
It's not there at all. And I got reminded yesterday on Twitter because someone was talking about how the back and forth that he had on with James Small during the race.
I think Larson this weekend.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, he's due, right? Like, because Larson doesn't like to go more than a month and a half without a win.
And really, with the way that things have been going here, for just go back on the Truex thing, I was reminded of a video of back when he was in the 56, when he first started with the 56. Video of when, and I thought I wiped this from my memory, but this came back. And he had Pat Tryson as a crew chief. And he had a loose wheel. He came in and he went back out. And you can see as they're dropping the jack, the NASCAR officials hey, pointing at the tire. They missed a lug nut. They told him on the backstretch. I forget where they were. They told him on the backstretch, and you could just see Martin he lost it in the car.
Yeah.
As only Martin can, and he's like, "You're all goddamn fired. You're all fired," and he's like beating, like his hand becomes a blur as he's beating on. Yeah,
I believe he actually said, "Waltrip, are you listening? They're all fired."
Yeah.
Mike Waltrip is not available for comment after that. He went away.
No, I would want to hear him anyway. But I think for the first time in a while, I will go with the money line favorite for Richmond.
I just assume Chase Elliott because they make him the favorite every week.
No, it'll be Martin Truex Jr.
Okay.
That'll be cool as the money line favorite. But that pick is going with the heart, not the head.
Right. And we'll see getting down the last few laps too, right? Like there's going to be some bumping and grinding because it is almost shades of Chase's past when that was the cutoff race. You don't feel confident on Daytona or the Watkins Glen road course. This is your weekend.
You start talking about that being the Chase cutoff, and then you start scratching your arm. Is that like a little thing back to your boy back many years ago?
Hey, we were trying to get your boy in the playoffs.
Yeah, I know.
So shut up. That was the boss at work. I need you. All right, hard left.
Yeah,
Clint
yeah.
had
Like,
no problem doing
really,
hard left.
do you need to ask your guy like 4 times? Hey, is your arm itchy? Hey, Clint, do you think your arm's getting itchy? Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll see. So on that note, he's been Doug, I've been Ben, you've been Keith, Terry, Charles, Guitar Man 45, Blackjack Guitar, and thousands of others that refuse to
gee,
actually tune in.
it's sounding like Romper Room now.
Oh, I see Tom. That's right. Tom was in here. That's right.
Only thing I'm seeing is, see you, Marcus.
Okay.